Yo, what's going on? Beautiful people. Connor Culture Podcast. I don't even know what episode we on. Like, you know what I mean? We on episode 5. So, hey, what's
One,
up
two,
to the
three, four,
people?
fifth.
You feel me? It's your boy, Jon Connor, with my dogs, JAL, Boogie, G Money. Y'all know what it is. We are the Connor Culture Podcast. Fellas, let them know what we talking about today, man.
All right. Unconscious State is the name of the podcast episode today. So episode 5 is Unconscious State. Pretty pivotal album for you, Jan. There was a lot of firsts that was associated with this project. This is also to the pre-Dr. Dre years, right? And so we talked about, or you talked about on episode 1, For the Love of Money, how this album was pretty pivotal in terms of your time, during Aftermath or getting over to Aftermath. And I think at one point on episode 1, you actually mentioned that this was going to be re-released. Like there was going to be, I guess, some tweaking of these songs, and then it was going to be re-released actually on Aftermath until, you did a track, and then Dre said, we need to do a new album, right, altogether. So we're going to dive into the project. We're going to dive into just sort of what was your thinking, your approach to it, and who you were during this time, because this is 2025. So when this album came out, it was 2013. It was released in 2013. So you recorded it. Yeah, you were a different person during. So let's start there, right? So who was Jon Connor in 2013?
Driven, ambitious, focused beyond words, but also very childish in certain ways. Naive, heavy on the childish, misguided ambition at times. I feel like my I feel like at times my people skills could have been better. Because like I say, I didn't know how to control the Aries thing. So I think that when I say misguided passion or misguided ambition, that's what I mean, where it was like 0 to 100. And I like in a way of like we got to get this music done. I don't care if your mama's sick. I don't care if your daddy's sick. I don't care if your grandmama's sick. We got to make this music. What's wrong with you? You got a fever. I don't care. So you ain't working. It was like a unhealthy, it was a very unhealthy determination at times. Mm-hmm. So who I was just, there was that dude in 2013 was, looked at life like life owed me something. I looked at it like I better get on. I'm working my ass off. I'm spending all this time in this. It was like my drive was coming. It wasn't coming from a healthy place. It was coming from a very, I would say, narcissistic, as if life owed me something type place. It was almost like there was no separation between the trials and tribulations I had gone through in life. There was a direct correlation between that and me justifying why I should make it, or why I deserve to make it, or why it was like, and I looked at everybody else like, you ain't been through what I've been through, and you can't, excuses don't make. So who I was at that point, I was a very complex person on two totally different ends of the spectrum. On one end, there was the shy, nice, quiet me, who I am just in general, but it was that to an extreme when I turned off Jon Connor. But when I was Jon Connor, whether that was in meetings, whether that was anything that had to do with Jon Connor, it was an aggression. It was Aries fire and Aries aggression being fueled from a very unhealthy place. And so that's who I was in 2013, a very driven dude with a lot of learning and a lot of growing still yet to do.
Okay.
Okay. Jay, you want to step in or you want me to?
Go ahead.
All right. So kind of and you know that, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is your first album to place on Billboard, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did that moment mean to you, and how did you find out? And also, shout out to Sailor's own William Ketchum for the M-Live article write up documenting that moment. So kind of speak to us about that moment you found out that it charted on Billboard, and how you find out about it, and how you feel about that.
So for one, this is why I always tell artists, don't trick yourself into believing that you need all the bells and whistles from like record labels and all of that type of stuff. I charted on Billboard from my mother's basement. Like that album was made in my mama's basement.
Wow.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the noise that I was making at that time was made from Flint, Michigan. I wasn't in California. I wasn't nowhere else. I was in Flint, Michigan on the north side when I made that album. And the way I feel, the way everybody felt, because my whole crew was from Flint. And so, I'll tell you how I find out, and that'll go into how we all felt. It was I actually thought it was fake at first because Billboard hit me on Facebook and they hit me. so
Wow.
so I got a message on Facebook from this cat from Billboard, and he said, "This is such and such from Billboard. Your album Unconscious State charted it." Oh, and he's telling me this a week in advance. So he like, on your album Unconscious State is going to chart next week on the Heat Seekers chart and on the top whatever R&B and hip hop chart, and we need to verify that this is you, and we need to verify your information. And I'm looking like, is this real? So then I clicked my man's page, and it was legit. Like, it was like, dang, this is for real. So I sent them my information, and I just remember maybe the first person I told was my mother, and then I just remember me and my crew at the time, we was tripping because I was actually getting ready for a big show in Lansing, and we were doing rehearsals every day. And I remember going to that rehearsal just tripping like, yo, I charted, like, no payola. We didn't buy that spot because at the end of the day, record companies spend a lot of money to make sure the artists that they want to have control of those slots have control of those slots. So you got to think, I was causing a major rift in the industry because here is this dude from Flint in his mama basement taking up one of these spots that we know we paid for. So who is this? Who is Jon Connor? What is that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when they all get on their computers and check Billboard and da 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 da, and there's a spot being occupied that they know that they didn't control. So that was, insane to me. And it just reaffirmed to me that if you believe in yourself, you believe in what you're doing, and you got, people around you who believe in you and are dedicated to the vision like you are, that anything is possible. And I just remember how I felt was just gratification, that it was like I had worked so long all through high school, elementary school, selling CDs and having people, take my CD and throw it in my face, and you know what I'm saying, having to battle dudes like all around the state of Michigan, and going back and forth to New York and having to constantly prove myself. It was like, that was gratifying, that hard work, determination, and believing in yourself can get you to whatever goals you trying to get to. So I just remember feeling gratified, which I'm actually gonna order my plaque for charting on I never ordered my Billboard plaque for Unconscious State, and I'm actually gonna do that.
That's dope. That's dope. So this, now, being that this was independent Jon Connor, how did you manage to get a lot of these heavy hitting features on this album? You had the Freddie Gibbs, you had Royce 659. You had Talib Kweli, Danny Boy. Of course, you had a lot of local features as well, which I understand those. But you had some heavy hitting features on here for this to be an independent album. So tell us a little bit about the features, and tell us a little bit about how you were able to do that, and then we might ask a little bit more about the certain features.
So I got to give all credit to one of my first managers. His name was Kendall Young Sav Freeman. And when we do these retrospective episodes, I'll probably be mentioning him a lot because he played a big part in a lot of the reason why Jon Connor became known in hip hop as far as notoriety and getting me out there and all of that. So Young Sav is still a major player in the music industry. He's the younger brother of Fat Man Scoop, God bless the dead. He Harlem dude, Harlem to the core. You know what I'm saying? Just him and his partner Steve Careless, they had a company together called Best of Both Offices, and they were hired to Def Jam during the Jay-Z regime. But his Kendall Freeman, his story started even before that. He started interning at TVT, and then, like I said, later did Best of Both Offices. Then got hired by Def Jam. Then he later went on to be the vice president of Maybach Music. Then he he just got a lot of like historical things under his belt. He one of them people that's behind the scenes, seen and not heard, but when he do talk, you know what I'm saying, it's always with purpose, and he always attached to some major moves. And Young Sav took a liking to me when I was grinding. So it's like a lot of those features came because of Sav's connection. It was because of his stamp. It was because he believed in me. I always say like the music business is kind of like the mob or the mafia. It's like somebody who was already in has to tell all the other made men, nah, he cool. Like, they got to vouch for you to be worthy of the feature. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Kendall's reputation, like, man, Sav's reputation was like a golden pass through the industry for me, like a lot of times. And so a lot of times features would come because Sav would reach out to people and be like, yo, I got this kid, Jon Connor. He's dope. Like, I'm telling you, he's ill, blah, 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 blah. And, based off of his word, they would trust him and then end up doing the feature with me. Now, some of those features came based off my own relationships as well. Like, I think on the Michigan shit episode, we talked about the feature with Royce and how that came through me meeting him at a show that I did in Clio, and then Denon Porter hooking up the session, and we got that feature for Michigan shit like that. If y'all want to know that whole story, go watch the Michigan shit episode.
Episode 4.
Yeah, episode 4. Go back and watch episode 4. I detail the whole story of how me and Royce got Michigan shit together. Hold on one second. I'm sorry. I feel like that was super unprofessional.
I keep telling you, man, this is the Connor Culture podcast.
Yeah.
You can drink water on your show.
Oh, sweet. Okay. So, let me think. What other features was on there that so Freddie Gibbs. Okay, I'll tell you, Freddie Gibbs and Talib Kweli is actually a funny story because the joint with Talib Kweli is also on this album too, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay.
Rise up. Yep.
Rise up.
So,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Rise Up. Okay, so look, there's a funny story behind that. So, so some dude, and I don't remember who this dude is, wherever he is, God bless him, but I'm just telling what happened. He reaches out to one of my managers, Young Sav, at the time. He like, can I get Jon Connor on a feature? It's a paid feature. So we like, cool, let's make it happen. Now, on this same song, I don't know if he paid Freddie Gibbs and Talib Kweli. I think this song might even still be out there. On the recap of this, I'll tell y'all, the viewer, what the name of this song was. But some dude got a verse from me, Freddie Gibbs, and Talib Kweli, right? It later comes back. Young Sav hit me up. Excuse me. Young Sav hit me up. He like, yo, you can't be on that record, B. And I'm like, why? He was like, because the dude stole the beat, or it wasn't his beat, or he lied about who he got the beat from, or whatever the case may be. So now me, Talib Kweli, and Freddie Gibbs, we all find this out at the same time. So I think to myself at that time, I'm a hustle, I'm gonna get it, Flint to the core, right? I'm like, So now I go from being on this record with Talib Kweli and Freddie Gibbs to now it's like, damn, like it's nothing now. We can't even, the song ain't even gonna come out. The dude was on some fraudulent shit, whatever. But I looked at that as an opportunity. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just reach out to Freddie Gibbs and Talib Kweli and see if they'd be down to do records independent of that record that's not gonna end up coming out. So I hit Kweli. He was down because we both had a laugh over the whole situation. I hit Freddie Gibbs. We laughed about the situation. And then that's how those two features, which was Fucking Right and Rise Up, came to be. It came because we all was like laughing and tripping about how like this song had came out that none of us could even vouch for being on because dude was on some fraud shit. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm like, you down to do a record? And Freddie Gibbs was like, yeah, just send me something. Kweli was like, yeah, just send me something. Sent it over to him, and both of them knocked it out.
That's dope.
Ain't that funny how God works though?
That's funny. That is that is interesting. That is very interesting. So yeah, and then too, I guess I was sitting here thinking like when you was talking about Young Sav, I'm just thinking like Young Sav just made like all of these connections and everything, and that's how they got on. And so it's just interesting, man, like how the industry works sometimes, that you all actually like came together on this project, on your project, because somebody was being shady. And,
ain't that wild?
like I wasn't expecting that.
It was. That's how both of those songs came to be. That's how Rise Up and Fucking Right came to be. Cause some dude lied about a beat, and I just looked at it like, well, I still want to be on a joint. I still want to rock with Kweli and Freddie Gibbs. Right. So let me just go out on the limb and hit them up. And then Sav was like, yeah, hit them up and see if they'd be down. And both of them was cool as shit, and they was down.
Making lemons out of lemonade. So
yep.
Shout out to Kweli.
Right,
shout out to Freddie Gibbs. That's what's up. Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, most definitely. All right, so I want to try to get a little bit more into the, like, before we get into like the songs specifically and everything like that. Just looking at the cover of it, right? Because I do remember when this album like first came out. And I just want you to talk through like the cover art basically a little bit, because this is like, I mean, we all have seen Jon Connor, all of us right here on the Connor Culture Podcast. We've seen your career, we've seen your albums, we've seen you have like fur coats on some of them with the beanie and everything on, right? But this one is a little bit more of an artistic depiction. Like you're trying to tell some kind of story with this cover. So could you just walk through like some of the elements that's on the cover and why you chose to go that route?
So I gotta give credit to an artist by the name of Jenna Noel, who is actually from Flint, Michigan. She drew that.
Jenna drew that?
Jenna drew that by hand. Yes, she did. I talked to her about what I wanted the cover of Unconscious State to be, but just want to take a second to fully give Jenna her props and her credit on that, because and it was like, yo, that's gonna be crazy, because I think I still got like when she was doing the concept art for what it was gonna look like. So I might post that before this episode come out, because it was a couple different versions. Like there was different, like the color palette that y'all see as the Unconscious State cover now. Like it was like 4 different color palettes. That's just the one that I chose. But Jenna Noel drew that by hand. And people might know Jenna from the Unconscious State album. She sang on Take the World. She sang on American Pie. She sang on it's another joint that I really like on there. Dang, I can't remember what the name of it is.
Running Away.
Yes, yep. Mm-hmm. And so she not only was an artist in the sense of singing, but she just a very artistic person, just in her whole being, her whole vibe. Young Jenna always just reminded me of a young hippie. She was just about peace and love and You know what I'm saying? And just her spirit and her energy was for me just very soothing because at that time, I'm gonna just keep it real. I was surrounded by so many hood niggas, man, and I am just an artist to my core. So when I was around Jenna, I felt like I could truly just fully embrace who I was as an artist without having to without having to damn, it ain't even no other way to say this. Hey, without having to deal with nigga shit, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was like a lot of times in the studio. When I'm in the studio, I just want to create. I want to be around peace. I don't want to hear about who got shot at. I don't want to hear about baby mama drama. I don't want to hear about the child support. I don't want to hear that shit when I'm in the studio, dog. Like, I don't. Like, you feel me? And at the time, it was so many niggas around. It was so many niggas around that it was constantly just, man, shit, bro, baby mama. I don't care. I just want to make the music, man. So when Jenna, there was Jenna in a couple, and that's why I'm gonna keep it real. I love y'all. Y'all three my brothers. Y'all already know. But and any man should feel like this. I love being around female energy more than I like being around male energy, man. I just because it's soothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, women naturally want to nurture and help. Like, you know what I'm saying? Dudes, sometimes it just be too fucking much, man. Like, I'm not trying to be in a competition with you, dog. I'm chilling. So Jenna as a person, when she would come around, like, she really allowed me to just be myself in the sense of embracing who I am as an artist. So me and Jenna would just always talk about artistic shit, like, concepts to videos, and we would talk about just the different textures of music. We would talk about we would talk and express ourselves about our vocal tones and what emotionally we were trying to convey and what we were trying to do with that. Them the conversations that I like to have in the studio. So Jenna drew that from scratch. I told her what I wanted the art to be based on what I was going through at the time. So the cover of Unconscious State, you see me in the middle surrounded by all of this evil stuff. And that is what my life was at the time. Like I said, I was going from what I thought the music business was to now I'm getting introduced to what the music business really is. And if you look at the cover of Unconscious State, you see the chicks with the big boobs, but they really demons. You know what I'm saying? This is my interpretation of what my life was turning into. It's like I'm at the shows and I'm seeing the groupies, but they spirits ain't right. I thought that I would want that when I was in that position, like, yeah, groupies, blah, 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 blah. But then when you actually around it and you start feeling the vibes and feeling the energy and, you just start feeling those evil spirits and just, people that just, you just start feeling that this shit is not good. You see the slime ball dudes trying to hand me contracts. That's me going back and forth from LA to New York and having different meetings with different record labels at the time. And me feeling like, damn, I thought I wanted a contract. I thought I wanted to get signed, but these dudes that's, presenting these things to me, I'm not getting good vibes from them. My spirit ain't sitting right, So, and then I think I'm going off memory, all of the things that's on the cover of Unconscious State. You see the cameras and you see what else is on the cover, like alcohol.
It's like alcohol, like a bunch of microphones, like a press conference.
Yes.
Type of
like,
setup.
yes, that was representing just all of the attention that I was getting. And you kind of see the picture of me that's in the middle. I'm looking kind of lost, or that to me, it was like, that's the naive me getting sucked into this vortex of all of this shit that I don't know that I was prepared for. So, and what's funny about that is I'm working on a project called Conscious State, where I redo or I revisit the same topics from Unconscious State, but now I talk about them from where I am now, as opposed to where I was when I was in an unconscious state where I was glorifying things like the porn song and I was glorifying things like the Sarah song. But now I'm looking back at these things and I'm looking at it from a conscious state of mind of understanding exactly what's going on. And I can't wait to put that project out. But yes, the cover of Unconscious State was just from my perspective, the way that I was feeling. It was, I'm getting everything that I thought I wanted, but it doesn't feel like I thought it would feel. And it's actually a lot more evil and demonic than I thought.
So just a quick follow-up question just on Jenna. Like I met Jenna during like the Super Talent Show days, right? And for those in Flint who remember the Super Show way back in the days, it was $1,000 annual competition. Some of the best talent in the city, Ready for the World, Lakeisha Jones, all kinds of focus on the Super Talent Show stage. And for like a brief period of time, like we brought it back in the city for like maybe about 4 or 5 years. And Jon was a staple supporter, like was a judge for every single Super Talent show. And so that was my introduction actually to Jenna. But I was always curious, like, did you connect with Jenna, like seeing her at the talent show, or did you already know about her, like, before it?
Bro, that Super Talent Show was my first introduction to Jenna Noel.
Okay.
And you want to know what's funny about that? I'll never forget it because she was actually the first act that went on at that particular Super Talent Show. I will never forget it because I remember I was sitting next to my homegirl Tia, and I remember because she was judging too. Her name was Olivia Brown for a minute. She's a writer, and
we know Tia.
Yeah. So I was sitting
shout out
next
to Tia.
Shout out to Tia. So I was sitting next to Tia, and I remember Jenna was the first act, and I remember as soon as she started playing her guitar and she started singing, I'm like, "Yo, you don't hear that?" And then she looking at me like, "Yeah, she's good." I'm like, "No," I'm like, "She a star." I'm like, "Yo," I'm like, "You don't hear that? You don't hear what I hear?" Because everybody can, like, it's not uncommon to find people that can sing. But when I heard Jenna, it was like there was a texture of her voice that to me was like, if anybody hear her or if the right person hear her and if the right machine get behind her, then that girl is a star. I still feel like that to this day, that, just her way of songwriting, her way of playing, and just her voice. It got me from the first like notes that she sang. So no, I did not know Jenna before that. I met her at that Super Talent Show, and I just remember jumping out of my skin so much to the point that I remember getting up and I was fanning out. Like, I gotta meet her. Like, I'm like, I gotta meet that girl before she leave. And I remember like ducking and dodging through the crowd, like trying to find Jenna, and I found her. And I remember her family was there, and I just remember bugging out, like, because she didn't win that talent show, but I told her, like, listen, yo, you are dope. Like, like, can we work together? And then the rest was history. And then me and Jenna started working together.
Look at that, G Money. The Super Talent Show is introduced. I'm gonna add another little tidbit about Jenna, right? Jenna actually, I used to at that time I used to work for the University of Michigan, and I used to run a program over there. And she was actually a student in that program. And at the time, but G Money, we having to be related cousins or whatever, was putting together the Super Talent Show. And she used to be around campus with a guitar and stuff, singing and stuff like that. And I said she should go down there. And she did. She was actually a student in the program I used to run at the time. I used to run the transfer student program for students that were transferring from Mott Community College to the University of Michigan. And yeah.
Oh, wow.
Look at God. That's
it's like
that's not connection, man. That's just
ain't that wild? You told her to be in the Super Talent Show that both of y'all was putting on, and then I end up meeting her because of nothing is by coincidence, man.
Wow, that's dope.
And L Boogie was a photographer at the show.
Right.
Dang.
But yeah,
shout out to Jenna, man. Yeah.
Shout out to Jenna Noel.
Yeah. She's
Man, in that little bit you talked about Jenna, you mentioned the song, the porn song.
Had to go to the porn song, right to the porn.
It's kind of like look at my head there. You know what I'm saying? It's like, wait a minute, the porn song.
Yo, Boogie, we see where your mind at, bro. Your mind look at you in the gutter. I get your mind out the gutter,
I know, man.
L Boogie in an unconscious state.
Greta's still working with me, man. Greta's still working with me, man. She ain't done with me yet. Oh man, but the porn song. Let's talk about the porn song.
Look, he couldn't get there fast enough.
What was that song about? Who was on the show? Who was on the song with you? How did that come about? What is that all about? You know what I'm saying?
We going back to the goal.
I want to do a deep dive into the porn
song. You are dumb.
I never heard a more ridiculous transition.
Like that segment, like the way I had to switch that.
Oh man! So the porn song. So all right, like I said,
I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to get everybody all frazzled, man.
No, you good. So all right, man. So the porn song.
It's getting hot up in here, bro.
So. The porn song, how it came to be so like I said, but at that time I was an extreme workaholic, and so just keeping it real, like man, I'm always gonna be super transparent on here. This is the Counterculture Podcast. This is to get the journey out there for the people that's been rocking with me, so y'all getting the insight on who I am. I worked so hard. Even when I had a girlfriend, it was nights that for real, it was just like by the time I got done working, they was knocked out. You know what I'm saying? And then I was so tired that it just was what it was. And like I said, at that point, I was so driven that I didn't care. I wasn't thinking about sex. I wasn't thinking about nothing other than winning. Like that was all it was to me. Win. My girl could come downstairs in the studio and be like, you trying to da-da? I'll be like, well, after I'm done working, and if you still woke, then cool. So because of this accidental abstinence that I was going through, I watched a lot of porn at the end of the night. Like when my girl wasn't there, like you know what I'm saying, or was asleep, then it's like, man, I'm watching porn. So I probably at one point was watching an unhealthy amount of porn, so much to the point that I knew the porn stars by name. I knew like you know what I'm saying. I had become like a critic. I was like Siskel and Ebert with like porn scenes, right? Like you know what I'm saying. I could tell you what was a 5-star scene. I could tell you who had good scenes. I could tell you, you know what I'm saying. I could give you the insight. I was a real porn connoisseur. It had went beyond like just watching. It was like now I had really started to study the art of porn. So I ain't gonna man. I want to say, man, this is so crazy, man. This anyway,
man, this the Counterculture Podcast.
Listen, we started out saying this is 13 years ago, everyone.
Yeah, like, 13 years ago. Right. This 13 years ago, man. So I was at that time, yes, I was watching an unhealthy amount of porn. So so at that time, that's what it was. So with me, I'm always making records just about any and everything. I'm making records about my reality. I'm making records about what I'm going through. And at the time, my engineer was a cat by the name of Maserati Rick. And I remember me and Maserati was just talking as guys talk, right? We started talking about porn one of them nights in the studio. He like, bruh, and we was talking about porn like it was a new album that dropped. Like, bro, but did you see Jada Fire, bro? Like, bro, and then I was like, but nigga, Cherokee cold, cuz. Like, he was like, but nigga, Pinky got this one, bro. So it was like we was talking like that about porn, and I'm like, bro, that'd be funny as hell. Like if I made a song that kind of like just embraced, because I'm like, bro, music is about being transparent and hoping that your listeners connect to you through you being transparent. Who hasn't watched porn? You know what I'm saying? I'm not advocating for it. Like I say, on Conscious State, I'm going to redo the porn song from my current state of mind. But at the time, it was from the perspective of, hey, we all watch porn. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Who can't relate to that? So to me, it was like, and it was like, yo, I just want to make a song where I have some fun with it, but I want to have fun with it in a serious way, because my homeboy D Wayne, who sings on the hook to that, and I cannot remember who the female vocalist was. Y'all got the credits for Unconscious State? Who was the female vocalist on porn song?
It's D Wayne and Cass Swift.
No, Cass Swift wasn't on the porn song.
That's what it said on Spotify.
They tripping. Spotify wrong.
That's what I saw too.
Yeah, they tripping. It was man, I cannot remember. It's the same. Who's the vocalist that sings on "In My Sleep" with "In My Sleep" with me and
Chelsea Blair.
Chelsea Blair. So yes, so is Chelsea Blair and D Wayne, and they was such a pleasure to work with. They was always down. You know what I'm saying, to rock with whatever crazy ideas I had, especially D Wayne. You know what I'm saying? Who is that man? D Wayne is a fool. Like, it's just he's a fool. I love him to pieces, man. That's my dog. And so yeah, that's how the porn song came to be. I was watching porn. Me and Maserati was I was watching porn, comma, then me and Maserati was
Is that a comma or a pause? Hold on, is that a comma or a pause?
Comma might be the new pause.
You gotta put a pause, a comma there, okay? I was watching porn, period. Then me and Maserati was talking about porn in the studio, and that's how the porn song came to be. And the crazy part about that too, I remember at the time my favorite porn star was Jasmine Cashmere. I shouted her, yeah. You see that?
Yeah.
You see how G Money just reacted, so
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jasmine Cashmere, boy, and God bless her, because I feel like the last time I saw something on Jasmine Cashmere, I feel like she got saved. So that's
she's a pastor. I think she's like a reverend.
Yeah,
now.
she a pastor now. So in no way am I glorifying her past life, because she's found redemption. But I'm just saying, at the time, like I was like literally going on Pornhub and typing Jasmine Cashmere, like like. Dog, that makes me sound like a fucking creeper, but it's just real. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I'm pretty sure there's a lot of guys out there that know these names.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That would type in the names, you know what I'm saying? They're like their favorite porn stars. You know what I mean?
I'm bad with names though, I might have watched a porn or two in my day, but I'm bad with names.
Well, I got one question though, Jan. Like, what? So you said Jasmine Cashmere retweeted one of your tweets. Do you remember that? Like,
see, that's crazy, because that's actually where I was about to go with that. Like, okay. I remember she thanked me for the shout out, and I'm talking about my whole little world lit up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I shouted her out like in 3 different freestyles. I did A$AP Rocky had a song called "Fucking Problems," and I did a freestyle to that. And I think the line was, damn, what the fuck was the line? I can't remember the line, but I know I said her name in that. I feel like I said her name in the Sarah song, I think. And I think I said her, and then I said her name on the porn song a lot. So it was like she hit me up and was like, I hear you, I see you, thank you for the love, or whatever the case may be. Man, I'm talking about I was showing all my niggas like, man, look. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Yeah,
and I gotta add just one more follow up, man, because like Cinnamon Love is from the crib, and she wasn't mentioned on the porn song, man. What happened?
So wait. I didn't even know there's a porn. Like, I know that there's a porn star named Stroke Hannes that's from the crib too. I think I forgot to mention her on the porn song as well. But who is Cinnamon Love?
She might have been a generation before.
Now look, tonight I'm about to go and look up Cinnamon Love. You done got, I done fell off the wagon, dog. Like, Cinnamon Love. I'm gonna look her up too. You say she from the crib?
Cinnamon Love from the crib. Yep.
Cinnamon Love. Okay, I'm gonna look her up. And yep, Stroke of Highness was from the crib too.
Okay, Stroke of Highness.
You know what? I got a funny story about Stroke of Highness too. And God bless her wherever she at. So this is a real life story. If she ever see this, much love to her. This is cool to be able to tell these stories, man. Because this is not a story that makes her. This actually, like, I think, I always had love and respect for her. This is crazy. I've never told this story, and I've never had a reason to tell this story until literally right now. So,
hey,
so look,
Counterculture Podcast is what
Counterculture Podcast. So look, Stroke of Highness is from Flint, and I won't say her real name because she obviously has an alias because she probably want to protect herself and her family. But I knew Stroke of Highness in high school, right? She was like, I think, a grade or two younger than me. And I remember, y'all got to think, man, I was such a nerd and a shy dude in high school, right? So, oh my God, I remember it was set up for me to go kick it with Stroke of Highness, right? So it's literally, and I think this is it's the same night. It was like a high school game happening. Could have been Northwestern versus one of them games that was at like the IMA. You remember back in the day, y'all, when the games at the IMA used to be lit.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
So I remember. I think my cousin dropped me off at like Stroke of Highness's crib, and I remember it was just me and her, and I could tell like the vibe was she was waiting for me to like kind of put the moves on her, right? But I was such a shy dude at the time. She looked at me and she had mercy on me, man. She was like, you don't got to do this, right? And then I was like, I really could, for real, I felt like a weight lifted off of my chest, man. Like, whoo, shit, because I didn't know what to do. Like I said, I was a late bloomer when it came to just my interactions. Like I said, I was a hermit. I was always in the house, always making music or whatever the case may be. And I remember like she gave me like a little pep talk and a little speech on some like, don't change who you are and don't try to be something you not. Like, you don't got to do this just because your cousins or your friends like think you supposed to do this or whatever the case. And it was like so dope. So to know that she went on to become Stroke of Highness and she was more than down the fuck, like, you know what I'm saying? That's obvious because she went on to be a porn star. It was really cool that she had mercy on my little 14-year-old soul because she honestly was looking at me like, I will hurt this boy. Like, I will really turn this nigga whole brain out. Like, if I have sex with him right now. So, Stroke of Highness, wherever you are, thank you for seeing that I was definitely not ready for the thunder you was gonna put on me. Thank you for seeing that I still have some years of maturing to do before you invited me into that fucking world, because I think that my mind would have been too blown. I'd have been in love. I'd have been trying to marry Stroke of Highness, dog.
You never saw her again?
I saw her again, but you know what I'm saying. But it was on film. But I never interacted with her again after that. Like, next time I saw her, she was out in Hollywood making movies.
Okay. On film like that. Okay. All right.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Wait, like actual movies?
Like, no. Pornography.
Yeah.
Yeah, the next time I saw her was that. Like, after that, like, I never saw her again. Like, we never really had no reason to. Like I say, like, she went on to start doing things that led her in whatever direction she went, and I was doing music. But I do remember that one encounter with Stroke of Highness, man. We was in her living room and she had mercy on my soul, man. And I always thought she was super cool for that.
Dope.
Ain't that crazy though? Like I made like that out of us talking about the porn song comes this actual story with me and a porn star, and like I forgot to mention her on the song. You know what? I think subconsciously I probably didn't mention her on the song because of the respect that I have for her, because of the love she had for me when I was 14. And you know what I'm saying? So man, much love to her, man.
Dope, dope, dope. Man. Okay. Where do we go from
Where do
the
we go
porn
from
song?
there?
Yeah. Oh, let's back up a little bit. So Unconscious State was the album before what would have been Vehicle City, right?
Mhm.
A lot of people think that Unconscious State was called Flint Vehicle City based on the cover. Like, can you? I mean, just clarify, like why did Unconscious State have Flint Vehicle City on the cover before the Vehicle City album was produced? And was there any correlation or anything with the two?
Well, it was me just honestly just trying to it was a couple things. It was one, just trying to always rep for the city, but also artistically, it was like me coming out of Flint and going into the industry. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, and yeah, it was confusing for people because the name Unconscious State, excuse me, isn't on the cover of the album. So a lot of people think that Unconscious State is called Flint Vehicle City, but no, that just represents the arcs downtown Flint. You know what I'm saying? That if you're from the crib, and if you're not from the crib and you're watching this, if you ever in Flint, Michigan, if you go downtown, we got these arches, and this is pretty much the arch that's on the cover of Unconscious State. It says Flint Vehicle City. So I just wanted to artistically show me coming out of Flint and coming into the industry, which was all of the monsters and crazy stuff that was surrounding me. So that was it. And I think that it was just confusing for people because the actual name Unconscious State wasn't printed on the cover.
So just a follow up to that, just the album, the title of the album itself, like Unconscious State, is it like a double entendre? Like, are you referring to like the state of Michigan, like, or is it? I guess what does it mean to you? Is it like I'm blacking out on tracks? Like, maybe I might be looking into it too much, but what does Unconscious State actually means?
It's actually kind of spooky to me now because I was aware enough to know that I was in an unconscious state of mind. I wasn't conscious of certain things, and I knew that. I knew. You know what's so crazy? Because y'all, all three of y'all are enlightened brothers, you know what I'm saying? But I could say that for me, I looked at life like it was, life for me was kind of like everything. I thought everything I saw on TV was like just a fairy tale, or it was like, I didn't correlate real life with the things that I was aspiring to do. So as I was chasing these things I saw on TV, I'm seeing rappers with the girls and the cars. I'm literally taking it for what I see on TV. I'm not conscious of what comes along with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm chasing these things aggressively that ultimately will harm me mentally, will harm me spiritually. So I was aware enough to know that I was unaware of something. Now, what I wasn't unaware of, I didn't know yet. I just knew that I was in an unconscious state of mind. It's like there's something that I'm supposed to know. And the further I'm getting in this journey, the more I'm learning, the more I'm understanding. And it was just kind of me acknowledging like, wow, I chased all of this evil shit being in an unconscious state of mind. Now I'm receiving all of this shit that I thought I wanted while I'm unconsciously wanting like evil shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like I'm unconsciously chasing these demonic women. I'm unconsciously chasing these slime ball dudes handing me these contracts. I'm aggressively wanting all of this shit in an unconscious state of mind. And like I say, being unconscious of something, being not aware. Like I wasn't aware of the repercussions of where my ambition was leading me, you know. So that's what unconscious state meant to me at the time, is that when I named that album is when I started putting it together, like, and that's why the cover is the way it is, because I was coming into a realization of maybe this shit ain't what I thought it was. What am I doing? Like, oh shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was in an unconscious state of mind when I was saying that I wanted all of this shit that I'm now currently surrounded by.
Okay. Connor, on Spotify, 2 Week Notice and In My Sleep is in your top 5 most popular songs. What is it about those songs that resonate with your audience?
Shouts to my dog Kaylin Dixon, who produced 2 Weeks Notice, and shouts to me for producing In My Sleep, which that's cool for me, like as a producer, that one of my, you know what I'm saying, like bigger songs is something that I produced. It as a producer, it make you feel like, okay, I might know what I'm doing. All right. And so but you said, what is it that I think resonates with people? Is that the question?
Yeah. What resonates with your audience with those 2 songs? I mean, why'd you put those as like 2 of your top 5 songs?
Well, I think that 2 Week Notice resonates with people because everybody done had a job that they want to quit before. You know, everybody wished that they could get a finger to a boss that, you know, mistreated them, or, you know, when they felt under appreciated or that their work was being devalued. I know I felt like that a lot. When I worked at Delphi, I worked at Big John Steak and Onion. I would pause for those who think that Big Johns need a pause. I worked. I worked at Ruggiero's, the Italian restaurant. So I know what it feels like. I've had good employers, and I've had people that I felt like were bad employers that, you know, would just totally shit on me having dreams. You know what I'm saying? Like they just, you know, hated the idea that I thought about life outside of working at that 9 to 5, and they would try to kill my dreams. And I'm like, I know I can't be the only person that feel like this. So I think all of us then felt that way before, where we want to say, fuck that, you know. So I just wanted to, like I said about the porn song, I try to make music from a relatable place, something that people can vibe to, and that everybody could feel, you know, whether you rich or poor, black, white, Asian, no matter what race you are, gender you are, we all done felt like we didn't have a job where we want to say fuck that. And so I think that sometimes you can strike that nerve or strike that chord where it's like, this is something everybody can relate to. And I think I got lucky with 2 Week Notice that people still enjoy that joint to this day. And In My Sleep, again, it was just an honest song. Yeah, it's just, that song is just pure honesty. So I think, once again, for the same reason that people like 2 Week Notice, I think people resonate with In My Sleep, is because there are 2 songs that are just honest. And I think that's when music touches people the most, when you can tell that somebody's just living in their truth. And I think though they're 2 very different truths, I feel like both of them, the underlying thing that defines both of them and why people feel them so much, is because you could tell that I'm just speaking from an honest place.
Yeah, I know I bump 2 Week Notice all the time. I ain't gonna front. like I always think like, man, like this should have been on a movie soundtrack or something. You know, when somebody go, I always said one day I'm gonna play this song when I quit a job, right?
Yeah.
and, like, you know, because this is, you know that just from beginning to end, like, it's the perfect example of what's going through your head. Not only when you quit a job, but when you have a job. You know, like I plan on quitting this job for the day y'all hire me. I mean, it's just, yeah, I think that's a super dope song, and it's so relatable. I say it's been in my playlist for a long time.
Man, thank you, Jay. Hey, thank you, bro. Appreciate it, bro. Yes, man. Man, I just remember. I remember when I won't say which establishment because I ain't trying to shit on the establishment, but one of those 3 jobs that I worked at, I remember it was a racist dude that worked there, and I remember he used to find every reason to just try to I don't know, discourage me. I remember during like times when wasn't nobody there, I would like be like writing rhymes or like drawing my logo on a piece of paper. And then I remember he told our supervisor, and she said, Jan, when you do that, it brings the morale down around. I said, that's crazy. I can't dream in this motherfucker. Like, damn. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't be happy in this motherfucker.
Right.
Like, that's crazy. And they told me to stop doing it. I'm like, nah, this ain't for me, man. But
Wow.
yeah, nah. So I just wanted to make that for all of the people that's dreaming and that got a 9 to 5 that's doing what they got to do and stacking their money so they doing what they got to do so that one day they can do what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of people out there that gotta, punch the clock so they can invest in their dreams. So I just wanted to make something for them.
That's dope.
Man.
Dope.
I actually want to. I'm just happy to even have this opportunity, man, because you have one of my favorite songs of yours is on this album, and so Judge and Jury.
Hey,
man, listen, when Judge and Jury came out, man, I couldn't get that out of my headphones. Actually, it's still like one of my top gym songs. Just man, I just want you to talk about Judge and Jury, man. I'm gonna be quiet. Just tell me about Judge and Jury.
G Money, bruh. Bro. The story behind Judge and Jury. So let me paint the picture for you. Whew. My crew was breaking up at the time.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is down. Now we getting into the meat and potatoes. The crew, as I knew it, is breaking up as I'm making Unconscious State.
Wow.
So that even as I'm saying these words, it's still because I rarely think about this stuff or talk about this stuff, but it's cool to get it out there so people know my entire journey.
This AV Squad.
Yes, or the original Blue City Club, you know, like
yeah.
That was so hard too, man. That was
yeah.
I agree. Me and the cats, because all of us has long since talked since all of this. So to anybody, don't go stirring up no shit if you watch this. All of us have talked long since all of this, but I'm just telling the story because I'm being asked a question about what happened at that time. You know what I'm saying? So yes, this is, that crew from I say Salvation season 1, season 2, the first Best in the World tapes, While You Were Sleeping, Unconscious State, that crew from that whole run, you know what I'm saying? Me, Brandon Bars, Leah Mack, Cass Swift, like, you know what I'm saying? Like that whole crew. And so we were breaking up at that time. There was a lot going on at that time. And honestly, like I said, I'm a hermit. I'm a studio rat. I never been a club dude, nothing like that. So any friends that I had were the friends that I had through music. You know what I'm saying? So it was really like, man, like it was more than just I was losing artists or I was losing a crew of musicians. I was losing my friends. You know what I'm saying? At this point. And we had created so much history together, from South by Southwest to like that crew is responsible for like we were the crew that got to Sav and got to like we made the music that made like the buzz for Jon Connor start, and like you know what I'm saying, like that team of people, like we did that together. So when we started to break up and it was a wrap. We broke up. Like I'm still having to finish Unconscious State because what people got to understand is my first manager and Young Sav, like they not involved in all the little petty shit that we going through, like y'all breaking up and arguing and fighting or whatever y'all going through. Sav just calling like, yo, where's the music, B? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, where's the album? I told them we gonna turn the album in at this certain time. So he not concerned with whatever the fuck we got going on, like that's responsible for making the music. All he know is turn this album in. I told the distributor we gonna have the album by this date. So now I'm losing my friends. These is people that I grew up with. It's awkward. Certain members of us ain't speaking to each other. Then it's making it for awkward for certain other members of the crew. Like, well, if he mad at him, then am I fake for still talking to him? Do we not? It was just a very crazy time. It was a dark time, and it was just a really dark time. And it was, oh boy, that was a dark time. So the song Judge and Jury got made after the dust was settled and the crew had officially broke up. When I had knew that Unconscious State was going to be the last project that had that group of people on it. You know what I'm saying? So that song was made from a place. It wasn't made from the same place that all the rest of the songs was made from. All of the rest of the songs was made when we all was still cool. When, you know what I'm saying? When everything. So there's a like a BC and an AD of the creation of the album Unconscious State. There was before shit got fucked up and after shit got fucked up. So it's certain songs that, like I say, we were still good, we were still rolling, it was things happening, but we still all was crew, we was tight, we was focused on taking over the world, and then things happened, and then there was an after point where I had to make the rest of the album without all of those people. I had to fight through tears in a studio by myself, as where it went from being me and all of my people and me and my dogs, and we having that camaraderie and we laughing and talking about ideas, to the second half of the album is just me by myself. I'm my own engineer now. There is no more laughing, there is no more camaraderie, and I had to take a long look at myself like, is you gonna quit or is you gonna keep going? You know, it's certain times in, especially, you know, in this music business shit, where things are going to happen to you where you're gonna have to ask yourself, are you gonna keep going or are you gonna quit? Because if you're gonna quit, now's a good time. But if you're gonna keep pushing forward, then you actually are dedicating yourself, your life, your everything to succeeding. You are saying to yourself that nothing is going to stop me from succeeding. And that's where the whole I don't need a reason came from, where it was like, man, I done lost so many people from death. I done lost family members. Then my crew broke up. Now I'm by myself and I'm still expected to keep pushing through. And now it's like, okay, you're going to have to boss the fuck up. I would say, like, you know, think about when all of the hot boys left Cash Money, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can y'all still hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we
Okay. Think about when all of the hot boys left Cash Money. It was like Lil Wayne was faced with a decision. Is you going to give up or is you going to keep going?
Yeah.
Like, think about when Michael Jackson left the Jackson 5. Is you going to give up or is you going to keep going? Like, there comes a certain time where artists have to boss up and look at themselves in the mirror and be like, okay, are you going to keep going or are you going to quit? So that was Judge and Jury for me, where it was, okay, either you going to keep going or you going to quit. Are you a sucker or are you a soldier? Like, you know what I'm saying? Are you going to boss up or no? And I had to, like I say, in a studio by myself. What's funny too, the intro to Unconscious State, which is me just playing the piano and instrumentation and all of that, like there's no words to it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I made that intro the same day as I wrote Judge and Jury. And I remember crying all while I was playing. So people still to this day, like when they talk to me about Unconscious State, they be like, that intro is so beautiful. It's so pretty. I debated about putting it on the project because when I made it, that was me playing emotionally what I felt. Like it was the end of something. It was me being sad. It was me thinking about, and in parentheses, I think it says JBK July 2nd. Is that what it say?
July 2nd, JBK.
So that's James Brian Kazarowski, who was my best friend who actually passed away. Um, he passed away. And I was thinking about him because at the time that I was, and this all still correlates to Judge and Jury, but I was thinking about James when I was playing that because in my mind it was like, to me, that was real friendship. Friendship was what I had before I ever made music. Friendship was what I had when I was in elementary school, when people wasn't just looking at me as an opportunity, when people wasn't looking at me as this artist that could get them to be a celebrity or get famous. Like James was my best friend. And so as I'm playing that and I'm thinking about all of the friends that I just lost, and then I'm reflecting on what real friendship was to me. And at that time, I felt like I didn't have that no more. I felt like all of my friendships became circumstantial. I felt like all of anybody that was around me from that point on, it was like, it's because I'm Jon Connor. It's because you see something in me. It's not because you want to come to the crib and talk wrestling, pro wrestling with me. It's not because you actually like cool with me and want to talk to me about music or music theory or no shit like that. So that's where the intro came from. And I recorded Judge and Jury that night. So with the same energy that I had when I was playing that and crying and shit is the same energy that I made Judge and Jury with. Like, dog, it was like, don't like, because I remember at that time too, when people like, this is during the blog era, and you would have certain people that would write shit about me. And at the time, I would still occasionally read like what bloggers would say about me. It's like, at that time, it was like, yo, I don't need no fucking pep talk for you to tell me where to draw inspiration from. Like when I would read these things, like if Jon Connor reaches into a more conceptual bag, then he'll elevate to a. It's like, man, fuck you. I'm making what I feel like making. This is my outlet. I don't need a reason. I done lost my grandmama, and yo. I remember I was sitting on my porch, me and my cousin Cass Swift, right? My grandmother had just passed away. I can remember a car pulling up, honking the horn because I had a show that night. My granny just died. I had to still get on the stage and perform. I remember when my grandfather died, I'm in California. I wasn't around nobody that knew me, loved me, or cared about me. That same day, I remember telling all of the people at Aftermath, yeah, my grandfather passed, whatever the case. It was like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. You ready to get back to making these songs? There was no compassion, no nothing. So for me, it was like, I don't need nobody to give me a reason. I wake up every day pissed the fuck off. I wake up every day ready to win. I wake up every day feeling like don't give me another reason, because I already feel like I want to be the greatest at this shit. I'm already driven by losing people, by feeling like I'm being surrounded by fake people, by all of the losses that I had been through. So that song got made after my crew had broke up. I'm all alone in the studio and I'm feeling like I gotta get it out. And I have to express myself that it don't matter if nobody believed in me. I believe in myself enough to get where I'm gonna go. I got me and I got God. And that's the way that I always felt. So that's what that song was. Like, man, it's like, yeah, that's where that song came from. Like it was just, yeah, it was that. It was so that was cool to be able to express that yeah, that album, there was the sweet spot of we were all still crew and happy, and then Judge and Jury got made after that crew had broke up, but I still had to finish the album. So now I'm making records from a different place spiritually. I'm making records from a place of I'm talking myself into believing in myself. I'm giving myself a pep talk like, nigga, you better not quit. Like, nigga, you bet not. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's what Judge and Jury was. It was one of them songs where it's like, if anybody else like it, cool. But this song is for me. This is me telling myself, you bet not fucking quit. That's what that song was.
Listen, I could feel all of that. Like I say, it's like one of my top gym songs, and I had to listen to it one day because at first I was like, it's the energy that's put into like the musicality of it, right? Because it is like real hard hitting, you know. But then when I started like listening to really what you were saying and how you were saying it, I was like, nah, this somebody determined. That's what I'm pulling from this, right? You know, so when you pushing 200 something pounds and you got to get this up off of your chest, like, to me, that's the song that do it for me right there. And so now I got an even better appreciation for it, because it's like you was dealing with some significant weight during that time. It might not have been a barbell necessarily, or like, you know, some actual weights in the gym, but it was a certain energy that you had to get up off of you during that time. So I appreciate that that breakdown. So that was for me, like how you did that song for you and you didn't care if anybody liked it or not. That question was for me, y'all. So I don't care if y'all didn't like it.
That's love, man. And you know what else too? While we talking about it, subsequently, Judge and Jury is the only song off Unconscious State that has a video, which is crazy.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Something I did not know, but thank you. We going to YouTube
it's the
after this.
only song that got a video, because right when Unconscious State charted, that's when Exhibit called me, and that's when the whole Dr. Dre shit started.
Wow.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So with Unconscious State being made in the midst of your crew breaking up, was there any songs that like you made for Unconscious State, and then, you know, you were no longer messing with this person, now you got to take that song off the album or take that verse off the song or whatever? Was there, I mean, you know, I know that's you know, very specific, but I mean, what did that happen?
Well, man, you know what? Yeah, it did. And like I say, we've all made peace with it. Everybody that was involved with the old crew. So we've all made peace with it now. So like I said, I could tell I could talk about these things without any bad feelings. It's just, you know, truth. Yeah, that happened a lot. Like it was a lot of shit on Unconscious State that I had to go back, take this person off, have somebody else sing this, take this off, take that off. Yeah, it was a lot of that. It's a lot. It was a lot of that. It was a whole lot of that. Oh my God. Because as I'm thinking about the track list for Unconscious State, it was a lot of that. It was let me see. I won't say who got taken off of what, but I can tell you which songs did have substitutions. Tito Lopez wasn't originally on In My Sleep.
Okay.
Craig Owens didn't originally sing the hook for the song this time.
I love that song.
Jenna Noel didn't originally sing Running Away.
Oh wow.
Or American Pie. Yep.
Wow.
She came up.
Wow.
She was like, oh, the crew broke up.
Yeah, Jenna came up. But yeah, yep. So that was actually a good question, man. So yeah, that did happen because, you know, everybody was in such a sore spot with everybody. For me, it wasn't me like being petty. It was more like none of us don't fuck with each other no more. So I don't want to have y'all have to be connected to me. Just like at this particular time, I don't necessarily want to be connected to y'all. Y'all, if you know, we're all free of each other. You know what I'm saying? So now there's not going to be this album out with y'all alone it and people that at the time didn't fuck with me. It's like, okay, now y'all don't have to answer Jon Connor questions. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to answer questions about y'all. We can just peacefully go our separate ways.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's definitely messy because like then you have to perform songs that have somebody on it that you don't even mess with. You can never fully perform that song again. You know, and all kind of stuff like that. It's definitely not the best feeling. But the album was still like what? You had 22 songs on there. And like, you know, this like compared to the albums that are out today, man, that's like 2-3 albums, bro. I was like, man, I listened to the album and I was like, man, this is a lot of dope music. I mean, you know, and it's like it's a long album, but it's a quality album. It don't feel like nothing was. I mean, nothing feels like a substitute verse or a substitute song. It's, you know, it just feel like a solid project all the way through.
Thank you for saying that. And I'm going to tell you just insight. the reason why it was so long is because you dealing with a dude that mentally I was checked out. It was like, fuck it. Like normally I'm very like particular. I want to stay under this many songs and there's a point that I'm trying to prove and blah 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 blah. I was so like even the song, the last song, the Away We Go song, right?
Mhm.
Uh and there's a skit at the end where there's a musician talking to another musician and he kind of says man, you can't keep a band together, you just got to keep playing no matter with who. Now I hope that makes more sense to people that's watching this as to why that's at the end of the album now, because that's what I really was going through, is that I had to make the decision of you, man, you just got to keep playing no matter who you playing with. So the reason why the album is 22 songs is because, for the lack of a better expression, mentally I just was checked out and didn't give a fuck. It was just like whatever, like, you know what I'm saying? If this album is too long, I don't care. If people like it, I don't care. If I was so hurt and going through so much shit at the time that the part of me that is normally on point creatively as far as like sequencing and track listing, I was completely checked out, and it was, I'm gonna give Sav these 22 songs, and that's Unconscious State, and it's what I feel like it need to be. And if I fucked up by putting 22 songs on it, I'll make it up on the next one. But right now, I need to grieve the friendships and mourn the piece of me that I felt like I had just lost.
Dope.
Very dope.
Well, I think we covered a lot, and I still feel like we have a lot that we could still cover, like with Vehicle City. I mean, like I said at the top, trying to approach a whole album is not an easy feat. So thank you for even like making this attempt, because I don't feel like we covered everything.
We can always do Unconscious State Part 2.
We can always do part 2. Yeah, I'm acting like we got limits here. We really don't. But for this part, right? We always like to end with just like an opening kind of question. Like, is there anything from this era? So we're talking about basically 2013. You probably were recording probably in 2012, I imagine, too, as well. Is there anything from that time that you want to mention for this part of Unconscious State?
Just that probably Unconscious State will always be special to me because it was an accomplishment that I could call my own. Like even the gold plaque that I got for Compton is cool, but it's Dr. Dre's. You know what I'm saying? It's like, for me, Unconscious State means more to me. The Billboard chart placement of Unconscious State means more to me than the gold or platinum plaque that I get for Compton, because it was the realization of a dream. You know what I'm saying? The realization of a dude from Flint, Michigan, with no plugs, no connection, no end to the music industry, no nothing. Like just me and faith and God, like got that charting, that Billboard placement chart on the Billboard, that placement on the Billboard chart. And like, so that album will always be significant and special to me for so many reasons. Because that was my first time charting on Billboard. Also because I had to boss up, because like I said, in the middle of creating an album, my musical nucleus had broke up and all I had was me. In the process of making an album, I had to pivot in so many different directions, emotionally, creatively, in so many different ways, and I learned a lot about myself. I think that album really taught me, like, I showed me that no matter what, I wasn't gonna stop. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So those would be the things that I think about when I think of Unconscious State. And I want to thank everybody that worked on it, on the project. Man, thank everybody that contributed to it, man. From Jenna with the artwork to all the other producers and everybody that was on there. Just, man, that album was definitely a moment in time. It was truly the culmination of all of the work that I had put in from from 2010 to 2013, I feel like Unconscious State, that was the coup de grace of all of the work I had put in.
Dope.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Well, yeah, I think I think this is all of my questions for now. L Boogie,
I don't have
JA.
anything else to add. I think we might have covered most of it at this part, at least.
No doubt, no doubt. I think that's what we call a wrap on episode 5.
Episode 5.
1, 2, 3, 4.
You feel me?
You know what maybe what we should do, this idea just came to me, like when this drops, if people, like when they watch it for a part 2, if there are certain songs, right? Because I know I got an opportunity to talk about Judge and Jury directly with Jon. If there's certain songs that resonated with you, and for part 2, we could do maybe like fan submissions.
That'd be dope.
On like certain songs. So, you know, just like leave that you know, like in the comments. And yeah, I think, you know, we could take that approach to it. Try something new.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be really, really dope.
Dope.
Well, thank y'all for tuning in. Episode 5, Connor Culture Podcast. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.